Okay, I lost you.
Oh, it didn't even do it. Hi, Ken.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for being a guest today.
You're very welcome. You know, I really like that little piece of theme music that you just played. What's the title of that?
I don't know.
You know?
I got it from Canvas, so I don't know the.
Yeah. It was just a nice little piece of music, and I've been looking for some, for some instrumental kind of stuff to play, just like when you're coming on stage, and you have the music playing while you're putting your guitars on and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was just doing that yesterday, and then when I just heard that, I went, "Oh yeah, that would work." Anyway.
So what was it like growing up as the son of a U.S. Marine?
It was how was it? It was great. I mean, as a kid, it's all I ever knew. I mean, that's what I was doing. That was my life. I was an only child, and my dad was just a good, honest, straightforward guy. And he was a Marine, but he wasn't like overly disciplined and all that sort of stuff towards me. I was, I didn't have to line up for inspection in the morning the way some of my friends actually did had Marine dads. Everybody had to line up, before they went out to school for inspection. Went, oh my gosh! So I had none of that, but it was great. It's the only life I knew. We traveled around a lot and lived a year here and 2 years there and 3 years there, and so you kind of keep your suitcase packed and your mental suitcase packed, ready for the next thing.
Wow. So how did moving through 7 states influence your music and identity?
My music. Well, I don't know if it influenced my music. I mean, we lived in Hawaii for 3 years, so I suppose it introduced me to the ukulele. But my identity. Well, I guess it helped me to be open. I'm a very open person. In terms of hanging out and being with people who are different than me. I mean, that's not a shock. I'm used to walking in a room full of people that that I've never seen before in my life. And trying to find my place in the room, in the town, in the school. So
okay.
I think that's good. Inclusivity, diversity, all those words that that aren't too popular in some circles today. I mean, those words are like a second nature to me. That's kind of the world I grew up in.
Yeah, nice. So, how did Jacksonville shape your teenage years and musical development?
Well, Jacksonville is a big music town. It was and still is, and it's really kind of the I almost said the birthplace of some forms of Southern rock, but I'm sure I would get some pushback on that. But a lot of big bands, from the Southern rock era came out of Jacksonville. Leonard Skinner and 38 Special, and the Allman Brothers, came from various places, but they got their start in Jacksonville. They came together in Jacksonville. So I was in college, in that pretty formative. Formative music-oriented years, So I was listening to all that kind of stuff, and so it, what comes in, eventually comes out,
Yeah, I'll always give like musicians like a lot of credit because I don't see how y'all can do it because I can't read music. I can't play music. It's hard. Like I've tried to play the flute when I was in like elementary school and I was just not musically challenged. Yeah. I kept scratching up my fingers and my fingers would get all scratched up and bloody. And I'm like, oh
really?
No. Yeah, from playing the flute like this all the time, it would get scraped up. And I'm like, oh no. I'm not holding it right. I'm not doing it right. I'm done.
You see my dog here?
Oh.
Yeah, she's been standing here, like I should have taken her for a walk or something, just before we sat down, because now she thinks it's time to do that, but it's not time to do that. So you had bloody fingers playing the flute. Well, I've never heard of such a thing. Well, I can understand why you didn't get off as
a So how have Duane Allman and Dickey Betts influenced your guitar sensibilities?
Well, the Allman Brothers, I think are, they're known for one thing, in terms of their guitar styling. Like the two of them play together in harmony, just have one instrument, and then the second instrument will add a harmony part to it, just like you might vocally, or you might playing the flute, one flute, and then the second flute would add a harmony part, So the Allman Brothers were known for that. Dickey Betts and Duane Allman did that, and so I grew up all of that. I really appreciated and that whole melodic kind of approach to music. That's real pretty melodic. When you put those two guitars together playing the lines, it's not all slow and beautiful, but some of it's really fast, and it's exciting too. But so I grew up listening to that. So now, like when I record, and if I happen to put a guitar line down, some little melody line, little hooky little thing somewhere in the song, da 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 da, so I'll think, gee, I should add a harmony part to that. So, well, where does that come from? I wonder, we have those kind of influences. So they still influence me.
Oh man! So, what songwriting lessons did you learn from Lennon and McCartney?
What song writing lessons?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody who has dabbled in music in any form probably has been impressed and informed by Lennon and McCartney. I mean, even if you don't play an instrument, you can't help but be impressed by their musical abilities, and they started out when they were in the early days, they were writing songs, verse, chorus, maybe put in a little what you might call a release, and go out with a couple of choruses, that kind of arrangement. I mean, it's still with us, you start a verse and you get to the chorus real quick, and sings along, you do another verse, and then you get to the chorus real quick, They started that whole thing, so I'm still doing that, and in the world of Spotify and streaming, they say, well, now you have even less time to get to the chorus. You have like 15 seconds that you need to get to the chorus, because if you're waiting longer than that, they're on to the next song, So we've kind of condensed that songwriting style that I think they started way back in the 60s, and I still do that when I'm arranging songs.
Yeah. So what's your favorite line you've ever written?
Oh geez, I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that. My favorite line. I don't know. Can I ponder that and maybe post it on your Facebook page or something?
Yeah.
I probably have to take that song by song,
So, what's the most emotionally difficult song you have ever written, and why?
Emotionally difficult?
Yes.
Well, I have a song that's on the album. My last album, it's called Proud, and I don't know that I would call it a difficult song, but it's a song that surprises me every time I play it live. Because sometimes from somewhere, it'll just move me. And there's been a couple of times where I had to just kind of stop. I thought I was going to kind of cry. And I think the audience saw that and appreciates that. Gee, the guy's singing a song that actually means something to him.
Yeah.
And so Proud happens to be a song about my son. I'm telling my son that I'm proud of him, and that I love him, and so sometimes that just touches me when I sing that song. And I've had people come up to me after a show and say, I never told my son or daughter, that I loved her or him, and so it does kind of resurrect some feelings in other people too. So it moves me, and it does move other folks. I guess that's the point, try to connect with people.
Yeah, I like that. So how did the idea for I did not know come about?
How did the idea? Well, I'm sure it came from that line. Gee, if I had only known then what I know now, it's just kind of a cliche. We probably all said that or thought that in some form, maybe not verbatim with those exact words, but kind of looking back in retrospect, think, gosh, if I was as smart back then as I think I am now, I might have made some different choices, or made some different decisions, so it's so that's where that comes from. I thought it was a kind of a hooky little line, and I thought there was a song there somewhere, and there was in it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what message do you hope people take away from I Did Not Know?
Well, it's been really interesting as people have written reviews about that song. I read some of the reviews, and I think, my gosh, I didn't realize I was so deep. I didn't realize I was thinking that that personally and that deeply about this, through this song. But what was the question?
What message do you hope people take away from it?
Well, it's not a message of regret. Oh, gee, if I had known then what I know now, and I'm just filled with regret because I made those decisions that may have been not the smartest decisions. And so it's not a statement of sadness and regret. It's just a statement of realizing and coming to grips with gee, I could have done things differently, and things could have turned out, certainly would have turned out differently and better, perhaps.
Yeah.
And then moving on. It's not oh gee, woe is me. I'm all down in the valley and I can't get out of it. It's just a statement of I've been there. Who hasn't, right? Down in the valley. That is, but that's not the last word. We can we crawl back out of that thing. It's just lessons learned along the way, right?
Yeah, definitely. So this is a question outside of the questions I have listed for you. But was you nervous? Like, do you get nervous or sweaty or anything, like when you perform in front of people, like in front of a large crowd or anything?
Someone said to me once that that if I did not have a healthy anxiety when I stepped up to perform or to speak, that if I did not have a healthy anxiety, that I was probably not taking it seriously enough.
Yeah.
So I expect to have that kind of what I call a healthy anxiety. I'm nervous, I'm on key, and but I'm not dreading it, and I'm not maybe I'm sweating a little bit, I don't know, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this, I don't want to go out there, brother. No, it's more I am taking it very seriously, and I'm processing what I'm going to do, and so when I get to the stage, I feel very comfortable, and I feel like, okay, let's do this thing,
Yeah.
I feel good about it, so So it's
Yeah.
good. So if I'm not if I'm not nervous or have that healthy anxiety, then I would have something to be anxious about. I go, gee, I'm not taking this seriously enough. Why am I not concerned?
Yeah. So are there any touring plans for the Promise in 2025?
If I can figure out, I hope so. I hope so. I need to find a good booking agent.
Yeah.
There are many pieces to to the whole puzzle. I mean, I've got I'm working with MTS management promotion company, and I think that's the reason that we're probably having this chit chat. We're probably together through them. So that's all good. And but there's one of the other pieces to the puzzle is that whole booking agent, the one who puts the gigs together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't have that person. I'm actively looking for that person, but I don't have it right now. So if you're a booking agent, hey, hi. So so right now it's just me, and hey, I'm no booking agent. Is that your dog barking?
Yeah, it's mine.
It's your dog and my dog together. They could bark at each other online here. But so that's not my strength. But I try to pick up a few things. I send our stuff off to different festivals and whatnot. Pick up a few things here and there. But I'd like to have something more steady for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So how did it feel to open up for legends like The Who and ZZ Top?
Well, it was pretty exciting. Yeah, I suppose I had that what we were talking about a minute ago, that healthy anxiety. I suppose I'm sure I must have, right?
Yeah.
So it was fun. It wasn't over. It wasn't like overwhelming or anything. They're just people just like you and me. Put their pants on one leg at a time. And they had a dressing room down the hallway. I'm sure they had green M&Ms, and I didn't. We didn't have those. It was fun. It was a great experience. And when people ask about that, of course, gee, playing with a Who, man, that's pretty great. Well, it was. There's 30,000 people. So that that's great. But that was a long time ago. I don't mind revisiting that and talking about that. That's wonderful. But
yeah,
I
maybe
don't.
you can open up for some other bands from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably still touring.
Yeah. Right now I'm playing, when I play live, I'm playing mostly acoustic guitar, and I have a bass player. So just the two of us as a duo. We have a 2-part harmony. So I don't know if that's gonna fit the bill in front of the Who. Or I think they're looking for something a little more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. So
go ahead.
Oh, so what do you wish you had known earlier in your career?
You mean like if I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have made that blunder or made that mistake, you mean? I think I'm fortunate in that, I don't really have any regrets about decisions that I've made in terms of my musical life. From I've been playing in bands playing music in some form since I was in high school. All those years and various configurations of music. But I don't really have any regrets. I think it's all been informative, and it's all been good, and it's all kind of helped me to be who I am. I've grown into who I am today. For better or for worse. Here I am. But so I think it's been a it's been a good growing, transitioning time over the years, and I'm still at it, and I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
I'm still doing it. So
Man.
it's been a good musical life,
Yeah. So what has been the like most meaningful feedback you've received from a fan?
The most meaningful feedback.
Yes.
Well, I'm thinking of something that a woman said to me after a show. We were playing a gig at a library. Libraries are interesting places to play because the library will put you on their event schedule, and you set up in their event room, and you do like a 1 hour show, and so people are there. They're there because they want to hear you. They're there to listen. It's like a listening room situation. And so people tend to be they're very attentive. I mean, they're there because they want to be. They're not there for the fish sandwich or the river view. So after a show, after that show that I'm thinking of, a lady came up to me, and I was at the merch table, and she said, when you play it from your heart, you will connect with people. And she said, and today she said, you were playing from your heart. We could feel it, and so you connected with me. People will respond if you play from your heart. That's a good lesson to keep in mind, and I think it's real important to me now to keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. So where can my listeners find your music? Like, is it on all streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music?
Yeah, I'm on all the streaming platforms. I don't regularly visit all the streaming platforms, but I usually glance at Spotify and Apple, and so I'm on there. Ken Holt, and I have a website that I actually did myself. I didn't even need a publicist to do it for me, and so I have a website that's got my bio, some of the things that we've talked about today. And then it's got all my music from the recent album, and then the album before that, and all the get your T-shirts and all this stuff, your bumper stickers and all that, it's all there. It's all there in the music store. But you can hear my music. You don't have to buy it. I mean, I hope you do, right? But you don't have to buy it on my website. You can just listen to it.
Yeah.
And I'll give you that. I'll make that pitch, right? So what is it? It's Ken Holt Music. Pretty easy to remember. KenHoltMusic.com. You're not going to remember that. And so you can go there or Spotify, Ken Holt.
So I wanted to play one of your songs on the stream, if that's okay with your permission.
Okay.
What song do you recommend? I'm on your YouTube channel, so.
Oh, YouTube channel. So you've got the video stuff going on there, huh?
Yeah, I got the videos,
Yeah.
but we can do the other ones if that's easier. If that's more recent, because I don't see any more recent on your YouTube.
Yeah. There's a lot. The videos. I mean, there's quite a collection of stuff. I mean, there's everything from open mic things to, to some other videos, and usually the sound is better. Like on some of the streaming services. I don't know if you can go on Spotify or not, or whatever is easiest for you, whatever you have right in front of you. I suppose you could, if you can find.
Okay. What song do you want to play?
You could play. See what's on there in terms of videos. I don't have a video for all the songs, but either Shine or I Did Not Know. Shine was like the first single from the album, And then I did not know was the second signal. It was single. That's one we were talking about earlier. Both of those I have videos.
Okay.
So you can do either one of those. Yeah, I could have, should have. If I had only known then what I know now, I could have sent you an album link, where you could have the files for all the different songs.
Yeah, I don't see that one on. Oh yeah, I did. Okay, I had to go slow.
Sometimes the sound on the videos is a little suspect, but.
Okay, I got it now. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up. Okay.
I did not know. Okay.
Disappeared like a ghost who's been wandering for so long. I would have liked to set you free if I had known what's wrong. I did not know that you were lonely. I thought you only liked to be alone. I didn't see your spirit fading as you drifted on your own. I did not know all that I know now. I did not know all that I know now. Wanted more than children. You wanted more than a place to live. I worked so hard, so long. Ooh, I never had much time to give. I did not know that you were dreaming. Stand with me upon a hill, together soaking up like sunrise. The sixth day begins. I did not know all that I know now. I did not know all that I know. If I had known then what I know now, be a whole lot different than the way it is now. The dogs would fly and we would too. If I had known then what I know now. Different than the way it is now. Dogs would fly and we would too. If I had known then what I know now. I did not know all that I know now. I did not know all that I know now. I did not know all that I know now. I did not know all that I know now. I did not know all that I know now. I did not know all that I know now.
I love that song. And that was the co-writer or the co-singer?
That was what?
The co-writer or the co-singer?
The co-writer?
Yeah.
I wrote it with a guy named Howard Larrabee. And the person who's standing there on that picture, I guess people saw that, right? Yeah. That's Mary Kate Brennan. Mary Kate is a friend of mine. She's a bluegrass star in the state of Florida. Man, she plays everywhere. People love her. She's a friend of mine. So she sings on a couple of the cuts on the album. And I'm always trying to get her to come back and join my band and stop playing bluegrass, but I don't think she's ever going to do it, you know.
But I want to thank you so much, Ken, for coming on my podcast today and letting us listen to your amazing music today.
Oh, we're all done?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was fast. Okay. Yeah, you sent me that list of questions. There's about 50 questions. This is going to be about a 3-hour interview, you know?
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
No, I was saying this is going to be great. 3 hours, you know, we'll call out for some pizza, you know, we'll just keep it going.
Thank you so much for being a guest today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And my little dog, you know, now I'm going to get to go on a walk, you know, everybody's happy.
All right, bye.
Thank you, Brooke.
Hey everyone, I want to thank you all so much for listening to my interview with Ken today. Definitely go check out his music and see you next time for the next interview. Bye.